Hey horror fans, once again it's the Horror Miser Monty G here to do another movie review, and today we're going to review the movie Wildling. Yes! Now Wildling is a 2018 horror fantasy film. It was directed by Fritz Braun. This is his directorial debut. It stars Belle Powley, the great Brad Dourif, and Liv Tyler. Now, a lot of people have actually said some good things about it. Emma from Spooky Astronauts and Vicky from Nightmare Maven, and also Lee McCoy from Drum Dums. They all had some good praises about this film. So, of course, I had to watch it, and I did. And now here is my review of Wildling. So, we begin the film. We see this little girl that is in this bed along with Brad Dourif, who is known as Daddy. And he basically tells her the story about the wildlings. They're this creature that eats little babies up like her, and she has to stay in the house. Eventually, we do find out that he's not her real daddy, and eventually she gets rescued by the sheriff, played by Liv Tyler, and we find out that we don't know who her real parents are or what's happening with her. Throughout the film, once we find out that there's something special about Anna, and once she discovers that, a lot of strange shit's going to happen. And we've seen this type of film before, but it's basically what the premise of this film is about. Now, as I stated before, this film is predictable, but it's also very well written. I got to give the filmmakers credit on how they've written this film. It's basically, we've seen this premise before, where we see a person who has been isolated throughout their entire childhood, and by the time they get into their teens and they're free, they get exposed to a world that they don't know, and they have to adjust to that, and plus they have to adjust to the changes to their body. Especially for Anna here. She doesn't know what a menstrual cycle is. She doesn't know what a period is. She's never seen people kissing before, and she has to adjust through all that. And obviously there's something special about her because basically we find out that her estrogen level has been suppressed. So that's another secret that's going to be exposed as the film goes on. But that's basically what we've seen this before. And we've seen these films before. We saw it in Ginger Snaps. We've seen it in the movie Raw. And there's no difference here. This is nothing new here. But it's very well written, so I do give the filmmakers credit for that. Now, the film is shot very well. It has a very urban feel to it. I like the forest scenes in there. I like the sounds that they do it. Even though this is shot in areas in the Bronx, run around the natural section of the Bronx Zoo, but it does look like it's in the mountains somewhere. So it does have a very rural look. So I do give them credit on how they look. Now, there was some editing issues that I didn't like throughout the film, but still, the film does look pretty good. What makes this film work is obviously Belle Powley as Anna. She does a fantastic job as Anna. You can see her facial expressions that when she's finally is free from Daddy, and she's looking around, and her facial expressions are great. How she acts when she eats real food instead of the vegetables that Daddy was feeding her, obviously to suppress her appetite, which I thought was pretty good as well. And she does a fantastic job as well. And also Liv Tyler does a pretty good job as the sheriff. Obviously, she's trying to do a good thing, and she's looking and she's trying to do what she believes is best for Anna, even though she believes that there's something special about her. And I do like the performances of the two actresses. And, of course, the great Brad Dourif, who we all know and love as the voice of Chucky, is brilliant as well as Daddy. He obviously he knows some truths about Anna and her true nature and what she truly really is. As we do find out later on in the film, he's responsible for some of the trauma that Anna has suffered through her childhood and the position that she's in right now. And he does a pretty good job on it. Mostly all the actors here do a pretty good job in this film. Now, as I stated before, the one thing I didn't like I said, this film is predictable. We've seen this type of movie before. There's one thing I didn't like was the forced romance that's in this film. I guess what they were trying to do is to have her expose through, obviously experience some of the things she has not experienced in life. But I thought it was kind of forced. Really didn't need it. But I guess that's what the writers felt is still that the character Anna had to go through. No, she's never kissed a boy before. She's never had sex before. So they decide to throw this forced romance in, which I didn't think did fit the narrative of the film, but I kind of understand why they did it. Also, I also didn't, and also, like I said before, when the film begins, we know from the beginning that Daddy is not really her daddy. I thought that was very predictable, and it doesn't take us long to know for sure what Anna truly is. I'm not going to state what it is. If you've seen the film, you probably know what it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. So that just no sooner the film starts, and once we find out what Anna is, we're not surprised. I also thought the ending was a bit far-fetched. I mean, wow, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit the narrative of the film. I guess they were trying to go for some type of a happy ending, but to me, it just didn't fit the film. I just thought the ending was just a bit far-fetched. No, I did like the practical effects that they do have in here. There's some gore. I'll admit that there's some gore in here, but you can obviously tell that they did not have the budget for anything more than we see in this film. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. So you do get to give the filmmakers credit for the practical effects they do have in this film. So, despite the predictability, the terrible forced romance, and the very far-fetched ending, I actually did enjoy this film. Like I said, Belle probably does a very good job as Anna, and Liv Tyler does a fantastic job as well. And of course, Brad Dourif does what Brad Dourif does. He's pretty good in this film. Well, despite of all some of the problems I had with this film, I did enjoy it. It's a very good film. So, the Horror Miser is going to open up his vault, and I'm going to give Wildling 2.5 out of my 5 gold coins. Just I'm going to give Wildling 2.5 out of my 5 gold coins. Almost wanted to give it 3, but just could not stand the ending and the forced romance, so it just gets 2.5 out of my 5 gold coins. So, horror fans, have you seen Wildling? Did you think about what do you think about it? Do you think this was a nice coming-of-age horror movie? Or did you just think it just missed the mark? It was just another predictable, bad movie. Leave your comments down in your comment section and tell me what you thought about Wildling. Well, that's my video for today, horror fans. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share as well. And also, if this is your first time here, you know what you got to do. That's right, hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down at the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, remember, horror rules.